Hello, Sweet Tooth here. I hope your day is going well. I'm going to play a little bit more of Always Remember Me. So, let's go to the hospital. Oh, come on. To the gym. To the park. To the library. To the disco. To the restaurant. Back home. Fine, I'll go to work.
That was easy.
I quickly change clothes and I get ready to go to the hospital to talk with Eddie. I wonder what he wants to talk about. As soon as I entered the hospital, I met with Eddie. He nodded at me and made a gesture to follow him into his office. I took a deep breath, vaguely registering the sound of our footsteps tapping their way through the corridor. Eddie led me to his office, and I distantly noticed his occasional glances, but was too absorbed in my own frantic thoughts to care. We stepped through the door, and he quietly closed it behind me. Please have a seat. I sunk into a cushioned chair in front of the desk and watched him hopefully. Tell me how he can get better. Well, you have to understand that this condition is somewhat difficult to treat. We'll of course be encouraging his memory to return by talking to his family and friends, putting him in situations of previous memories, things like that. The therapist can tell you more about exactly what they'll be doing. There's also the possibility of prescribing him certain medicines, but we only keep that option open for extreme cases. I nodded, hanging onto his every word. The key is that he regains his memory slowly and carefully. This sort of psychology is not my specialty, but we have to be careful of any psychological stress. Amnesia is tricky to begin with. We can't risk any more complications by trying to force him to remember. My heart sank. So what you're saying is, he won't be remembering me anytime soon. He looked at me kindly. Probably not, but there is a way you can help. How? Tell me, I'll do anything. Well, you know him very well. It would be a great help if you could think of situations that might help him regain some memories. Situations from his past. Places he's been, activities he likes, things like that. I nodded my head slowly, trying to reconcile myself to all the unbelievable things that had happened recently. For a few moments I sat still. Then as silence rang and Eddie began to look uncomfortable, I stood up mechanically, having heard all that I needed to know. Miss Samantha, call me Amy, and thank you for your help, Eddie. Alright, anytime, Amy. You'll be fine, don't worry. I nodded. Are you okay? I shrugged, turning to leave. Thank you, Eddie. I'll come by later to check on him. I am here. Wait a second, so... Wait, what happens if I cry? But I still can't see him, right? Gosh, what's with all this blocking? No. Load. Yeah, load. Don't cry. There we go. Don't cry and leave. Why can't I do anything? They said I can do stuff, and I can't do anything. Because it's already sunset. They said I can do stuff, but I can't.
Yay!
It was nice to reread this romance, even if I already know where it ends. Ah, there we go. I must go to sleep now. Tomorrow I have to work.
Yes!
The next morning, I decided to follow Eddie's suggestions. I grabbed a book from my library, the first book of the Pendragon series by D.J. MacHale. Aaron loved it. I'm going to bring this with me at the hospital next time. I need to hurry. My morning shift at the ice cream shop starts soon. Oh, not you, Lawrence. Not you. Amy, I looked up from the change in the cash register that I was counting immediate gaze. Yes? I heard about what happened. I'm sorry for sounding inconsiderate. It's alright, you didn't know. Lawrence looked away, unable to continue looking me in the eye. He was always rather shy, and it surprised me that he came forward to apologize in person. He often resorted to text messages since he was more comfortable with it. You know, I'll always be here. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'd be glad to listen. After all, we're friends, right? Yeah. Right, thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate that.
This must be an off day. Aww.
I quickly changed clothes, eager to give the book back to Aaron and see if he remembers. When I arrived at the hospital, I was surprised when the receptionist said that there was already someone visiting Aaron. First, I was glad to hear that, since it probably meant one of his friends had come to drop by him for a visit. Even if it was just one of his friends from school, talking to people he used to know would probably help him with his memory. However, when I entered the room and when I found out was anything but pleasant, I stopped in the doorway and stared for a moment, my eyes widening as my heart went cold. No clear thoughts passed through my mind, and I couldn't seem to bring myself to take even one step closer. Abigail, Aaron's ex-girlfriend, was seated beside him. She wore a smile that was so obviously fake, it almost made me sick to see it. I knew all too well why they broke up quite a while before we got together. She was a manipulative girl who never really loved him. The idea that the lapse in his memory would make him think that she was his real girlfriend, I found myself shuddering at the thought. Amy, good morning. Who are you? I didn't reply, simply staring at the reality of the situation sank in. Abigail knew perfectly well who I was. She was just acting. Beat her up? She's a friend of mine. She came here to visit me yesterday. Don't you know who I am, Abigail? Well, I don't think I remember someone as ordinary looking as you son of a bitch. Well, to be honest, this seems kind of... Wow. To be honest, this seems kind of like a hard decision. So, what if I give him the book? I see, well, anyway, I brought a book for you, Aaron. Oh, really? Yeah, it's one of your favorites. It's a book there. Huh, that sounds really familiar. Isn't that a children's book? I pulled a softcover book out of my purse as I walked over to sit down in the chair on the other side of his bed. Technically, it's young adult. Oh, was the main character's name Bobby? I smiled as I handed him the book, and a look of recognition came over his face. That's right, we would always pre-order the new books. They were such fun to read. I remember this one. I got into it a long time ago. I was so young, but they were too fun to read to grow out of. Right. Well, I think I've heard of it once, too. Thanks for bringing this, Amy. I really like this book. You can keep it if you want. Really, are you sure? Yeah, if you like, I could read you. Don't feel bad about it. How about I read it to him? There are quite a few books in the series. How about you each read me one? Aaron smiled cheerfully as he asked the question, and even though Abigail frowned at me for a moment before faking another smile for Aaron, I couldn't help but feel somewhat satisfied with myself. It was a small step, but at least he remembered something that didn't involve Abigail. I don't know what her intentions are, but Abigail is unlikely to get up early in the morning, so I'll only find her in the hospital visiting Aaron in the afternoon or the evening. Unfortunately, since I work every morning until noon, that means that I won't have many occasions to see him alone. Alright, so if I do this? Excuse me, you heard me. Why have we met before? Shouldn't even be here. Don't pretend you know who I am. Aaron glanced between us, looking somewhat bewildered. I'm Aaron's girlfriend. Why wouldn't I be here? After what happened, he needs all the tender love and care he can get. Abigail smiled as she placed her hand around his, though her eyes remained unchanging. You don't belong here. You dumped Aaron for some other guy with more money. What? Abigail glared at me and shook her head disapprovingly. Aaron, don't pay any attention to her. She's confusing me with someone else. I don't know what she's talking about. She's lying to you. She isn't really here to take care of you. I don't understand. There's nothing to understand, honey. Like I said, don't pay any attention to her. Abigail leaned forward and gently kissed Aaron's cheek. Looking reassured, Aaron shook his head slightly. Wow. What? What a jerk. Wow, she is mean. Alright.
Could have gone better.
No, I really don't get that much chance for this shit. So, be a success.
Bring it on!
There. But wait a second, shouldn't that increase the romance thing? Am I missing something here? I think I'm missing something. So, what if I go back home?
That was easy.
That increases culture. What if I go to the park? I can't even go to the park ever. I can't even go to the gym. Oh, I can't do anything.
Yeah! Awesome!
I have no idea what's going on. Today I was seated more morosely at the counter of the ice cream shop, my co-worker Lawrence trying to cheer me up. I nibbled meditatively at my chocolate ice cream cone, trying not to feel like my entire life had changed without my control or consent. Soon there came a tinkling from the door, signifying that somebody else had entered. I didn't look up, but from the annoyed look on Lawrence's face, I knew it was Hugh. He was an immature boy that often hangs around some of my friends. He is always around me, but I'm not really sure what he wants from me. Amy, babe, what's cooking besides you? Hugh, stop. Now's not the time. Hugh looked from Lawrence to me and did a double take. Whoa, you don't look so good. What's wrong? Your dog died? I didn't reply, and Lawrence gave him another dangerous sort of look. Hugh seemed to deflate a little. No, seriously, what's wrong? Ignore him! Ignore everybody at the ice cream parlor. I couldn't bear to say anything. Saying it out loud would only eliminate any hope I had left that the whole thing was not true, only a dream. My silence made Hugh pause. I could sense him sending a questioning look at Lawrence, but I couldn't care less. I took a few more bites of my ice cream, letting the cold dessert distract me from Lawrence's voice as he told Hugh exactly why I was so sad today.
Pretend you didn't see that.
Even if it was mostly small talk, I feel like it helped us get closer. Oh no, Abigail has come to visit Aaron. No! 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 Yeah, well, what Abigail doesn't have is a load.
Pretend you didn't see that.
I won't. Yep, look. What, you can't get past it? Yes!
Woohoo!
Despite Abigail's annoying presence, I still managed to talk with Aaron for quite a while. It's late, I need to get back home now. I'm not really sleepy, but I don't want to disturb Gwenda. I'll get in bed anyway.
Awesome!
The weekend. I can relax and do anything I like today. If I really need money, I can still do overtime at the ice cream shop. Doing overtime during weekends brings very good money. I'm sure it does. So... Hey, town's biggest mall where everyone goes to do shopping. Oh, the mall. It's so big and I just packed with tons of shops. My favorite is the bookstore, of course. Hugh's clothing shop is here if I want to pay him a visit. It's open every day from Monday to Saturday. There's also a nice restaurant if I want to go get a snack or a meal. Lastly, on Saturday and Sunday I can attend some art courses. Painting and clay are my favorite. They're a bit expensive, but they can really boost my stats. They start in the evening. Huh. Wow, there's actually some things you can do. Heck yeah. Read a book to Aaron.
Woohoo!
Abigail's come to visit Aaron. Alright, so Monday and Friday I need to go to the library and get a new book. See what that does.
That could have gone better. Pretend you didn't see that.
Oh, I won't. I'm just going to keep loading until I get it right.
Oh no. Wasn't expecting this.
Just give it to me. There we go.
Yeah!
Culture or creativity up. All stats up. Wow.
Who's awesome? I'm awesome. Awesome!
Alright. Back to the hospital. Yes.
Bring it on!
Now she is here. Oh!
Who's awesome? I'm awesome.
There we go. Nice.
Bring it on!
Does that change to anything else? I'm just curious. Does it increase another
Yeah!
stat? Nope, sure doesn't. Well, actually it didn't do culture like it did last time.
That was easy.
Well, that does culture, but is there one that can do romance?
Yay!
Whatever. I'm not really sleepy, but I don't want to disturb Gwenda. I'll get to bed anyway. Yes.
Yay!
Wow, these stats are really hard to increase. I need to hurry. My morning shift at the ice cream shop starts soon. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. I hope you have yourself a good day, and this is Sweet Tooth signing off. I love you.